In today's video, I'm going to be planting some flowers where my bulb lasagnas were on the front steps, and I'm also going to be reviewing a product called Potmate, and I'll tell you all about that. Hi, I'm Robin. Welcome to Robin's Container Garden. So I've got everything I need here to put my new container. This new container here is going to go up here where this one was. These are my bulb lasagnas, and it's pretty hot today. Sorry. These are my bulb lasagnas, and as you can see, they've all gone over. These ones were the first ones to finish, so all of the leaves and stalks and everything have been cut right down. I'm going to be talking about saving bulbs for later use in another video, but for now these are just going to be set aside. I'm waiting for these to die down a little bit more before I cut them back. You're supposed to be, I think it's 8 weeks after they've gone over, and I've made a note so I know exactly what day that needs to be. So I mean, I could go ahead and cut these back, but I'm just gonna hold off. It's not very pretty right now, but that's okay. I know what's planned for next year, so like I said, that's another video. But what I'm going to do today is I'm going to plant some marigolds and a zinnia in this pot here, and that's going to live up here next to the door, and that will provide some color for the late summer, and also something for the pollinators to come and enjoy, and hopefully help out with the beans that are to my right. So that's what I'm going to do, but I'm also going to be reviewing a product called Potmate. And this is a plant stand basically, and what it does, it lifts your container up off of the surface. So if you have a patio, or if you have like flagstones or something where you're putting your containers, you know that they've got good drainage because you wouldn't be using them otherwise, right? Right? Am I right? So with good drainage, that means two things with your containers on a flat surface. One is that if it's on a flat surface and it's got a good married surface underneath, then the drainage is not going to be as good as if it was on a surface like my containers are around the back on the gravel, which you can see around me here because I have the same gravel around the back. So the gravel around the back actually does all of that kind of lifting up off the ground for me, plus the fabric containers also provide the extra drainage on the sides, so you don't have to worry about having holes in the bottom. But in a container like this, this is a plastic container, and it's got lovely drainage holes on the bottom. I've put crocks in the bottom, which is things that will lift the compost off so it doesn't block up the drainage holes. And also it doesn't have like a lifted surface on the bottom of the container. These ones have, like, I don't know if you can really see, but there's little feet at the bottom of these containers, so they have kind of a natural lift, so I don't have to worry about drainage on them. But this one doesn't have that, so this is going to be a perfect opportunity for me to test out this product. It's made out of plastic, really hard plastic, very durable, and what it does, it lifts the pot up off the surface so it doesn't block the drainage. Now, another thing that can happen is that when your pots do drain, they can stain your surface that they're sitting on. So if you have flagstones or wood, it can stain the surface. This lifts it up off the ground and allows for some flow to go through. So when it drains, it can flow off, and the staining is not going to be as obvious, and it may not even stain at all. I don't know. I've not tried it before. Potmate were kind enough to send me a sample so I can try it out and get a review for you. So they're not paying me for it, but they did send this to me for free. So I'll just kind of full disclosure here. They sent me this. These are not priced very badly. I'll put the measurements up and what the price is on their website, and I'll also put a link to their website and their information in the description below. But we're gonna test it out. I did notice, because I tried it out with this one to make sure it fit, I did notice that it also has kind of like a floating pot kind of result when you put it on top, because it's not like a great big, it's not a huge thing. It just, everything kind of sits on top of there, and because the little legs are where they are, when you put the pot on top of it, it kind of has like a little floating pot kind of effect. So we'll look at that later. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to prepare the pot, the container here, for planting. And we'll talk about this again a little bit later. So what I've got here are seedlings that have been started. This was a zinnia that was given to me, so I don't know what the color is of the variety. So this was a zinnia that was given to me, and it's in pretty good shape. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put that in the center. And then I have some marigolds that I'm going to put around it. So I've got some brocade mixed, so different color ones. And I've got some, what are these? These are Boy Spry marigolds. And these are Legion. I've got some of these around the back in the tomato and the pepper plants. But I thought, and I've also got some up here in the flower bed, and they're about to bloom, they're about to come out, which I can't wait. This is not the flower bed, this is the veg bed, which kind of this end has ended up being a flower bed. But I do have one of the marigolds that have opened. I think these are African marigolds. So I'll have to look to see which ones these are, and I'll show you a picture of those later on. But I put a cosmos up here, and I put a dahlia up here as well. And there's some sorrel and tarragon that are kind of hiding behind the flowers here. But I thought that would kind of add to the pollinators being up here for the beans and things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and put some fresh composts here. This other stuff is not fresh compost. It's just compost that we got from the tip. So it's I guess it's council compost. This is purchased compost, so and I put some bloodfish and bone in the other compost as well. Pre-watered it. I didn't pre-water this compost because I'm going to use that kind of crumbliness. Put a little bit of that crumbliness in there to help with getting the plants in. So what I'm going to move the camera up a little bit closer so you can kind of see a little bit better what I'm doing with the flowers. Okay, as I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the zinnia there in the center. So I want to put that at least the size of the pot in there. So I'll just make a nice hole. I don't think I'm going to be able to get all of these marigolds in here, to be honest. So I'll have to choose which marigolds go in there. Okay, the root system on that looks pretty decent. So we'll put that in there, and we'll just kind of backfill that. Press it in right in the middle. That's a good place for that, isn't it? Okay, so I think I'm gonna put, because I think that should get quite tall, so that's why I'm putting that in the middle. You know what, I probably should have put that towards the back and then put the marigolds up front. I probably could have put more up there like that. You know what, I think I'm gonna move it. This is kind of dangerous, but I think I'm gonna move it. Yeah, I'm gonna put it in the back. So this is the fun part about being able to decide things. So that may have not been the best decision, but we will find out. So we've put this in the back. So when I put the container up on the step behind me, I'll make sure that that is towards the wall, and then the rest of them get put in there. So let's see. Brocade mix, do you think? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Gosh, I've got 6 in this little bitty tiny pot. They're not going to be very happy, are they? So I think what I'll do, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 in that pot too. I'm going to have to get these planted out somewhere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 in every pot, so geez-o, what do I do? What do I do? I think I'll go ahead and just put these brocade mixed in here because they should be different colors. I hope they don't clash with the zinnia. I don't think they will, but this should be okay. There's a stone in there. That's not very nice, is it? Okay. So I'll separate these. Well, some of these don't look like they're very big. I'll separate them though. And I'll probably put those two together. Oh, he's just tiny. But I'm gonna try to save him anyway. Some of that clawed off of him. Okay, we'll just mix this in. I'm gonna put this one quite close to the zinnia back here because I don't think he's gonna eat up too much, but you never know. You just never know. I'm gonna put them quite close together because I think they can actually be close together because I've got some that are like really close together and they're doing really, really well. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna put them close together and hope for the best. The thing I've learned about marigolds is that you can actually be quite rough on them and they still do very well. I said I was going to plant these together, but I lied. I'm going to split them up. So you know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to go ahead and just plant all of these in this container. Because I keep saying, I'm sure you've heard me say this before, that everything's an experiment. So this is definitely an experiment. So I'm going to put this little label there so I'll know what's where. Although it will get covered up as the marigolds grow. So the boy spries are going to be next. And what I'm doing, so I don't mess with the stems too much, I'm kind of feeding my fingers through the stems and then I'm turning the container upside down, and then that way I don't disturb the stems very much when I'm tipping them out. Sometimes you'll disturb the roots a bit, but like I said, they're very hardy little souls. And they do really well getting transplanted. Giving them a little bit of space, but I have no problem crowding these in here a little bit like this. Because like I said, they grow really well, kind of clumped up together. So I'm not really that concerned about how they'll do. If they crowd each other, they'll just crowd each other. These were extra marigolds that I had left over from the ones that I planned for the tomatoes. Those have all been planted now, so they're all okay. And these were just extras because I'd run out. I don't know if you remember the peppers. I ran out of marigolds for the tomatoes. So now these are the legions. Those were the boy spries that I just did, and since I've just got a little bit of room here at the front, I'm going to tip this over in this bulb lasagna next to it. These will all fill in as they're going. I'm not worried about that either. They'll all be all right. Now what I'm gonna do with them, oh gosh, this is all twisted, so that's gonna be really difficult to get in there. What I'm going to do with these, because they're so kind of delicate at the moment, because I've just put them all in, I'm not gonna water them with the great big watering tin. I will, what I'll do is I will water them with the smaller watering can that I've got. Kind of clean that up a little bit. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to wash my hands, and then I'm going to set this up on the step like I was talking about with the Potmate, so I'll be right back. Okay, so now you've seen me do that. I've added, after I washed my hands, I added a little bit more compost around the top just to kind of top it up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift it up here and put it on the Potmate. Now that's very stable. That's not going anywhere. So, and I'm not even got it centered exactly. There. Now I think that's centered all the way around. Yeah. Yeah, that's it centered. So that's the Potmate all in place. Now I put the zinnia towards the wall like I said, and what I'll do is I will initially just use the rose on the small watering can just to kind of get everything. It's good to do this close up, so if you do have small plants that you've been putting into a larger container, it's good to water it close up. Now, I'll leave that for a little while. I'll come back in a little bit and I'll water that again. So what we have is we've got the container with its drainage, and it's sitting up a good inch and a bit off the ground, off the surface of the step. So I'm hoping that that will help with the drainage when it does get water. If it rains or if I water it and the water comes out, it should just kind of just go right off the step. As I said before, these containers had the little lifts on them already, so that wasn't an issue with them. This is a different container, so we will wait and see how that turns out. I will give you an update on the Potmate as we go on, and as we've been watering and as the plants start to set in. And hopefully in a few weeks time this will be full with gorgeous greenery and pretty flowers, and there'll be plenty of bees and all that kind of stuff. I probably will move these around the side of the house, around the back, so they'll be kind of out of sight. But as I said, I will be doing a video specifically on saving bulbs to replant. These were in containers this year. They'll be in the ground next year, and I'll be getting some new bulbs for my containers that we'll be planting in the autumn. So what we'll do is when I do that video, we'll talk about how to store them and where to plant them, when to plant them, and that kind of thing. So I'll give you some updates on this as we go on, and that's all I have for you this week. So until next time, take care, stay safe. Bye, y'all.